Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is the 49 Days of CBC, and you may not recognize this hairy fellow who's with me tonight, but this is Mr. Billy Voss. He's been a Carolina Bible Camp supporter for I don't know how many years. I'm sure he'll tell us here in a minute. But it's a true blessing to be able to spend a few minutes with him just to kind of get or go down memory lane with Billy with his experience and his love for Carolina Bible Camp. I know that I got to work with him during week 3 for a number of years, and also on the board with him a couple of years. So Billy Voss, how in the world are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well for a youngster.
Yes, sir. So how you been keeping yourself lately?
Well, I have to be very careful. I tip over mighty easy.
Uh-oh. So you're not playing softball anymore?
No, I haven't played for years.
I remember playing softball with you during week 3. We had some fun games, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Well,
I never will forget one time I tried to stretch a single into a double. A little fella from down on the coast squared off down at the second base, and he said, "Oh, no, you don't." And I forgot what he called me. Senior citizen. Yeah, he said, "Oh, no, you don't, senior." And I wasn't old then.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Well, since we're talking about Carolina Bible Camp, with your history and everything with Carolina Bible Camp, when was the first year that you were working with Carolina Bible Camp?
1966.
Wow. And that was where at Camp Haynes, or had it moved by then?
Yeah, that was Camp Haynes.
Oh, wow. So since 1966, how many years straight did you go?
Well, I was active as, teacher, whatever, for 45 years.
Wow.
And then I've been a member of the board of directors since then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wow. Well, I'm sure you have a memory of a lot of the old folks that, well, I shouldn't say old folks. I said the men who had the foresight to put Carolina Bible Camp together and get it to where we're at today. That's the neat thing, right?
Yes, I have met some of the finest men in the brotherhood right there at Carolina Bible Camp. H.R. Butler and some of those that go way back.
Yes,
at
sir.
the time that the camp was begun.
All right. Now, who are some of those other folks besides H.R.?
Well, of course, there was Big Sam Norman.
Yes, sir.
And Ronnie Ulrey.
Yes, sir.
Ronnie and I shared a room at the cabin several summers. I don't know how many. And, I don't, from the top of my head, I could name others if I had a little time to think about them.
That's right.
My mind is not as active as it was, say, 20 years ago.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. I'm sure you still have some good memories, though, of the place that you love, right?
Yes, I do.
Well, you've experienced a lot of the camp locations. Do you remember those camp locations that you worked at?
Well, there was Camp Haynes, and there was the Woodman of the World camp.
Yes, sir.
And there was, I don't remember the name exactly of the camp up at the other side of, see, my memory's not running right. Anyway, I just can't remember. Wake Forest, out from Wake Forest.
Okay.
There's a camp out there.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't name any of the others right now.
That's all right. Well, sitting there, as you name off like Sam Norman and H.R. Butler, and, there's so many men that have, formed Carolina Bible Camp. And, with your heart and everything and hard work, it's, we're able to have a beautiful place that we have now there in Moxville. You did a lot of work out there, didn't you?
6 years.
6 years. You lived there in one of the cabins.
Yeah. Right. And then we purchased the house down on the highway. And, Betty and I lived there.
All right.
And redid that property while I was there.
Oh, wow.
With the help of several of the other members of the board and so forth. we bought that. It had been burned out in the attic, and we had to put a new roof on it. And so I got the board to let us add the upper story and made it 2-story on the front of it, or it would have just been a single-story building.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of work. Well, when you sit there and think back of over the years of all the experiences you've had at Carolina Bible Camp, is there a memory that stands out to you? Something that was special to you over the years?
Oh, I don't know. There was so many things happened while I was there. It's like trying to remember all the men that, was there during that time.
Yes,
I don't know. My mind is just not working very well. But it was, I think, a very honorable thing for me to be able to associate with that many men over the years. And then I always think about the fact that while I was there and working each week for most of those years, that I have met literally hundreds, probably running into the thousands of youngsters from everywhere. Even had one that came from one of the environments, I guess would say, of Russia, that was a student at David Lipscomb College.
All right.
And I forgot now who sponsored him while he was with us. And he worked in the canteen while he was there for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I met them from most everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Some of the folks from way off at a distance would send a grandson or granddaughter to be with us for a week or two. And of course, that was a highlight to get to meet youngsters from so far away.
Yes, sir. And be able to preach to thousands of kids over the years, sharing the gospel to them. That's the thing.
Yes, I usually spoke a time or two during the week or 2 weeks. And then, of course, I worked with the church, North Main Street there in Knoxville as well.
All right.
A lot of the time while I was there. Served as an elder there for, I think, about 3 years.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, when you think back of all the years and stuff like that you worked at Carolina Bible Camp, is there somebody that has made an impression on you over the years that you want to acknowledge right now?
Well, I think the most impressionable one would be Brother H.R. Butler.
Yes, sir.
Because he and I became very closely associated one with another.
Right.
I never will forget when he learned that I had been in the military, and especially that I'd been in a unit that was responsible for putting up tents and taking tents down and so on. We bought that big tent for the camp, and he said, "You're in charge of getting that thing up." Well, I did, with the help of most of the senior boys, campers, but we got it up. But I think we had about 60 youngsters under that thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was quite an experience.
I bet so. He was
because in the military, the only tents I had was just little squad type tents, maybe one for the officers and something like that. But that was different altogether.
All right. I can only imagine how he told you that you're going to be putting this up.
The worst thing about that event was it came a rainstorm and blew halfway across underneath the tent. It just got everything wet, and that was everything the boys had, as well as the tent and the bedding and so on. And that was quite a thing to try to clean up after.
I bet so.
Yeah, another person that I forgot to mention that was probably as close to me as anybody else over the years, because he was there the first year I was there. He and Brother Bill Smith, that worked with the church at Rockingham, introduced me to Carolina Bible Camp. Right. Wilson Burton and I and his wife Lillian have been very close over all these years. And so he's one that was near and dear to me and to my family as well.
Yeah, he was a neat fella. He was a neat fella, that's for sure. Well, when you if you had the opportunity to say something to the staff that are working today and everything, what would that be you'd say to them? What would you say to them to encourage them?
I would say that would probably be one of the best spiritual experiences that they could have, preacher, teacher, or otherwise, because there you're able to put forth to young minds sometimes that will just soak in most of the teachings that you give them. And most of the time, that's not the situation working with a regular group of people. They're somewhat older and have other things more than just having, as I'm not sure which preacher would say that now, just having a bigly time and
Yeah.
enjoying it muchly.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about it is you get to meet people like you, Billy Voss, who are, it's just an honor to be able to work with you those years at Carolina Bible Camp that I did get to work there with you. And to hear the stories and everything, the experiences you have, that's just a blessing. And I just want to say from my heart, thank you. Thank you for the work that you did back in the 60s for us to have a place in 2020 like we do today.
Well, I certainly appreciate the opportunity to have, been associated with the camp. And it took us several years to find property to purchase. We checked out several situations, and finally, thanks to the people that had that property, we were able to get the 60 acres, I guess it was, to begin with, and then later added some more to it and ended up with 72 acres altogether.
Yes, sir. The Bogers, Edwin Boger, and all them.
Oh, yes. Yes, I see him, of course, occasionally now. And he's still the same. Edwin furnishes the tomatoes when we're there. And then my family and I have been having Thanksgiving there for several years. And he would usually show up and most of the time bring us some fresh tomatoes.
With that big old smile of his, right?
That's right. Yes, well, he and his wife were, of course, close friends of ours, and we appreciated getting to be associated with him while we were there.
Good deal. Well, Mr. Billy, I want to say thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend with us, just going down memory lane about Carolina Bible Camp. It's a true honor to spend a few minutes with you, brother.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you're taking your time and energies to do this. And I'm not sure if it'll do any good at all for anyone else, but it helps me to go back down, as you say, memories lane and think of some things now that I hadn't really let it cross my mind for several years.
Well, just know that you're truly missed there, and we'd love to see you back over there someday, okay?
Well, I'd love to be able to come back, but I'm not sure how things will work. Right now, I'm trying to take care of myself so that I can spend the 90th birthday with my twin brother down in Louisiana in August.
Yeah. Well, that would be neat.
Well, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I pray that it will.
Well, we'll keep you in our prayers, brother.
That'd be fine. I appreciate it very much. Of course, you realize now that I lost my sweetheart some 4 years ago, and that has been a terrible loss. And of course, she helped me in the Carolina Bible Camp a great deal, and always was ready to help out, whether it was in the kitchen or whatever needed to be done. If we were short of help, she would pitch right in and help as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sure you do miss her.
I do every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Well, you keep yourself healthy, and I pray that you're able to go see your brother. And it's been a joy spending a few minutes with you, Brother Billy.
All right. Thank you, Brother Andy. Appreciate it.
Take care, sir.
Bye-bye.